is going to be the last video for the last page. So this is page 7. We're going to be dividing a trinomial. So a trinomial is this one right here, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to divide it by the binomial, that one. If you don't remember, we're going to be using what we learned in the past. So we're going to be using what we call the synthetic division for this one. First things first, you got to go ahead and do a big L. So we're going to go ahead and do an L, just like that. And we're going to be putting things inside and outside of the L, and that's corresponding to what we have. So I'm going to be looking first on my binomial. You're going to be looking at that one first, and that one's going to tell you what's going to go over here on the outside. So first things first, I'm going to have to look at the numbers. So the number is a 2, but it's a negative 2. So whenever you put the number over here on the outside, you have to select the opposite of whatever you have. So I have a negative 2, so I'm going to put a plus 2. Okay, we do the opposite. So that's the first thing. Now, second thing that we're going to do whenever we do synthetic division is we're going to go ahead and we're going to write every single one of my coefficients. So that one, and that one. Now, you might be telling yourself, well, there's nothing in front of x. Well, technically, there's a 1 in front of x. There's an invisible 1. And yeah, that's all I'm going to have to write over here inside of my L. So I'm going to put 1. And you always go in descending order. So you go from highest degree to lowest degree. Then we go negative 10 and then 16. Just like that. So we have already finally set up the entire synthetic division. All we have to do is solve it. The first one, the first number always goes all the way down. So you never have to worry about doing anything first. First number is always whatever's in the front. So that's 1. At this point, we're going to be doing 2 things. On the outside, we're going to multiply whatever's on the outside. So that this is going to be multiplying. And on the inside, we're going to go ahead and add. Okay, those are the 2 main rules. You multiply the numbers on the outside and you add the numbers inside of your L. Therefore, 2 times 1 is just 2. So I'm going to put a 2 right here. Now I'm going to add negative 10 and the 2. So negative 10 plus 2 is just going to be negative 8. And finally, the last one is going to be 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. Okay, pretty easy. So this one, we're just going to go ahead and write my 0 down here. And let's go ahead and write my answer. So I already have everything. I already figured out my synthetic division. All I need to do at this point is go ahead and write it out. So from right to left, we're going to be putting different letters. And they're going to mean different things. So on the first one, we're going to be putting an R. The R is going to stand for remainder. After a remainder, we're going to have what we call a constant. Constant is just a number, so that number is not going to have anything attached to it. After that, we're going to start adding x's. So I'm going to put x. Let's say I had a 5 over here in the front. Let's just say like the problem gave me a 5 at the beginning. Then that would be x squared. And if we had a 6, then that would be x cubed. Okay, so you would increase the number of x's that you have if you had more numbers. But for this one, we don't. So we stop right there at x. All you have to do is start bringing your numbers down. Okay, so this should look something like this. I'm going to put the 1 just so you guys can see. 1x minus 8. Now, like I said, a constant doesn't have any letters attached to it, so it's just going to be a negative 8. The way that you're going to write your remainders, you're going to have to look at the sign. So right here, the 0 can be positive or negative, because the 0 doesn't really have a sign. And I'm going to pick a positive just for the 0. Once you go ahead and do that, you're going to be writing your remainder as a fraction. We don't have to do this for this problem because we have a remainder of 0, so you can just leave it blank. And your answer would just be what? X minus 8. But I want to make sure I show you guys how to actually deal whenever you do have a remainder. So we're going to write as a fraction, so we're going to put the 0 there on top of the fraction. And then you're going to go ahead and select your binomial. This is your binomial, and you're going to place it on the bottom. So it's going to be x minus 2. And that's how my answer would actually look like. All right, so technically both of those answers are correct because if you have a 0 on top of a fraction, it's always going to be 0. Okay, so that is it. That's how you're going to be doing synthetic division. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward, and literally that's all you do. Now, due to the fact that these videos are really short, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of set up the second problem. I'm going to set it up, but I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to let you guys finish it, but I'm going to go ahead and set it up for you guys. We're going to go ahead and do the L. Okay, like we did before. We're going to be looking at this guy right here to figure out what goes on the outside. So I'm going to go and select positive 5, right? Because we have to do the opposite. And then I'm going to go ahead on the top. Let me go ahead and redo this. There we go. So we're looking at this. That's a plus 5. On the top, I'm just going to go ahead and put the coefficients. This one, and this one inside of my L. So it's going to be 10 minus 48 minus 19. There we go. We have set up everything, so you start working it, and the first thing that you got to do is write this one down. And then you multiply and you get 50, and that's where I'm going to stop. I'm going to let you guys do the rest, but basically that's the beginning part of your synthetic division. So synthetic division is really easy. You just set it up. The first number brings down, you multiply and add until you get to the very end. And that is it. That's how you're going to be doing synthetic division. All right, so hopefully that helps. Make sure you just turn in the packet before Friday so you don't have to worry about your grade. All right, so see you guys.